Church here, and welcome to the Game Grinder, and today we're doing another pickup video. And if you actually watched my last pickup video, I said it was going to be quite a while until my next, which would have been the case, but much as the title says of the video, I have some awesome friends and got some awesome additions to the collection, so it gave me enough to put together the video, so here we are. Well, without further ado then, let's jump right into it. So I'm going to first run through a few games that I've picked up on my own, and then run through the things that I got from my friends. First thing here, it's going to be the Horizon Zero Dawn Collector's Edition. Now, I actually did an unboxing video for this, so if you haven't seen that, would recommend checking it out. It's actually a really cool statue that comes with it. Unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to play through the game just yet. At the time when I picked this up, I was playing through Tales of Vesperia, and I wanted to finish that up before jumping into the next game that I was kind of waiting for, which I will get to in a minute. And then once I finish with this game, I will go back and play Horizon Zero Dawn. So I'm super excited, hearing nothing but great things about it. Well, the next item here is a little bit random. So if you've ever heard of the game Cards Against Humanity, which is a card game, it's basically like Apples to Apples, but super offensive. And basically the premise is you have people that play, one person at a time chooses a question or a statement, usually with a blank or with just, answer with whatever you have, and everybody else has a bunch of cards that they pick the best answer for, or they fill in the blank. And it's basically a super hilarious game. But as they usually do, they release all sorts of expansions and booster packs from time to time. And they actually offered up a booster pack for Mass Effect, which I thought was really neat. Of course, it was probably some sort of like tie-in. Maybe the people involved with the company were really excited for the latest Mass Effect game, I'm not sure. But anyways, they're offering a booster pack, which is usually like 15 cards or so, just to add a little extra flavor to the base game. But the really cool part about it was that they were offering the booster pack including shipping for $1, which is amazing. Like, that's super cheap. So I had to, of course, order that just for being Mass Effect, and I absolutely adore Cards Against Humanity. I have all the expansions and a bunch of the booster packs, so I ended up ordering 2, and I was kind of surprised with how they came. I was expecting just like the usual like little card pack foil deal, but it actually came in kind of like a card, almost like a birthday card, I guess, if you look at it. Has some funny Mass Effect art on there. And opening it up, I'm not actually going to pull the cards out of this one for the time being, but it has Shepard and Caden doing some kissy faces. The funniest part was the 2 cards that they had showing on top. So you basically have your question or statement card and then answer cards. So the statement card is, I am Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite place for blank on the Citadel. And the first answer card is perfect, and I'd imagine you could probably assume what it would be if you know some of the memes behind the game, but totally fuckable aliens. So that's pretty great. Really excited to add some more cards to my Cards Against Humanity. But then tying into what I was holding off to play, and of course with Mass Effect, is I have picked up Mass Effect Andromeda for the PlayStation 4. And I ended up pre-ordering it from Best Buy, so I got a free Steelbook as well. Now, typically, I've always played Mass Effect on the PC. If you watch my previous pickup video when I talked about Mirror's Edge Catalyst, I got a physical version of the game for the PC, but it doesn't actually come with a disc. You get the case, you get the little insert, but it came with a download code. And that kind of burned me the wrong way. Like, I appreciated the fact that I did have something physical to put on my shelf, but not having the disc is kind of like what's really the point. So it was kind of really annoying. Mass Effect Andromeda was the same way for the PC. You could get a case, but it came with a download code only. And my real problem with that is eventually, someday down the road, when these game servers go down and you can't access your games anymore, like, you're pretty much SOL at that point. Whereas if you at least have the disc, even though things are tied into those services, there are cracks available, and there will be ways to access that data on the disc, where not having the disc, you can't do it. I mean, of course, you can go online and download like a pirated version of the game or something, but that's besides the point. So I decided to pick it up on PlayStation 4. I have to admit that I really don't like playing the game on the PlayStation 4. I just don't like using the controller for this sort of game. Typically, like PC, really I prefer most games on the PC. Like, only games I really like using a controller for are games like platformers or some isometric third-person games to some extent, but you just can't beat the mouse and keyboard, really. But Mass Effect, so I know there's a lot of controversy about the game, a lot of complaints about the facial animations and the character animations, and they are warranted by all means. There's definitely a lot of jank in the game, and a lot of people are kind of dismissing it for those reasons, and I can't necessarily agree with that mindset. It is unfortunate that the animation at times is pretty crappy, but you know, in the end, the game still feels like a Mass Effect game. The story, it's not as great as the previous Mass Effect games. The characters aren't as unique and interesting. You know, it's not the same writers. You know, pretty much everybody who made the old Mass Effect games are no longer with BioWare or working on Mass Effect, but I'm enjoying it enough. At this point, I think I'm somewhere around like 15 hours in. Visual absurdity here and there or not, you know, it's basically all I can say is it's Mass Effect. Compared to the other ones, it's definitely not on the same level, but being 4th place for best Mass Effect games ever, I think is still a really good thing, and I'm enjoying it. So anybody who was kind of holding off, really, if you really love Mass Effect, I can't really say to pass this one. Like, sure, maybe get it for a discount or something, but seems great so far. So looking forward to seeing how things turn out, and hopefully my opinion holds up throughout the game, and maybe even things get better, who knows. And then another recent pickup that I got was another limited run PlayStation 4 release for Dear Esther, the Landmark Edition. This is basically like a first-person walking sim kind of puzzler adventure game. Heard great things when it was first released, but because it was digital only and I wasn't like burning to play it, I decided to hold off in hopes that maybe someday there would be a physical version, and sure enough, here we are. So I decided to pick this up. And then, of course, as always with limited run stuff, you get the little postcard and sticker, which, you know, is what it is. Alright, so the next item here is the thing that really kind of kicked all of this into gear and allowed me to speed up the time that I could do my next pickup video. And I decided to pick up a NES Classic. Now, actually, thanks to my friend Corpse Flood Gaming, I was able to get this. Picked one up for me, which I am super appreciative of. I know a lot of people say that these aren't for collectors or for people like me. Sure, I do have a lot of the games included on the system already, but really I thought it was just neat for having the official thing that you could hack. Of course, you can get a RetroPie and do all the emulators and whatnot on there, but I just thought it was something fun to have an actual like Nintendo device and being able to add different games. Last I heard, you could put the entire NES library on there at the same time. You can also put Master System games, Super Nintendo. I've even seen Nintendo 64 games running on it. I mean, they run, but they're definitely by no means playable. And it's just a little neat device. You know, everything kind of right there in the package. Of course, I missed the boat for doing unboxing videos, which would have been fun to do like an unboxing kind of preview video, so I'm passing on that. But for anybody who might not have seen one of these, this is basically what it looks like. It is pretty small, which is pretty neat. I mean, it looks just like original NES. The buttons actually work. Comes with the controller, even though the controller cord is really short, so you have to get an extension to really sit back and enjoy this, unless you got a long HDMI cable. But yeah, so that is pretty neat. Anyway, since Corpse Flood picked that up for me, he needed to ship it to me, and when I got the package, I thought the box was a little larger than what I would have expected, and when I opened it up, I couldn't help but laugh, especially with the note that was included inside, and it says, "Enjoy, man. Sorry, bubble wrap is getting too expensive in Canada, so I had to find an alternative." And quite the alternative, I would say, and what it was packed solid with a bunch of games. So we'll just run through these games here. These were kind of like throwaway games for Corpse Flood. He already had these games, or they were doubles or triples or whatnot, so he just threw them in there, said, you know, I can keep them if I want, I burn them if I want, do whatever. I think there will be quite a few of these games I will be adding to my collection, so that is really awesome. So let's go ahead and just run through these real quick. I got Predator, Concrete Jungle for the PlayStation 2. Checked up a little bit on the game just because I wasn't too familiar with that one, and it looks okay. I didn't hear great things about it, but, you know, Predator's always fun. Aggressive Inline. Now, yeah, there will be something coming up with this game here pretty soon. Hopefully on my channel or his channel, who knows? But it's just a Tony Hawk clone, basically. The next game here is Brute Force for the Xbox. I don't know, don't have much to say about it. It looks like a first-person or third-person, like sci-fi shooter kind of game. Looks all right, so I think I will definitely have to check that out at some point. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, super awesome game. I haven't played it myself, sadly. If I do play it, I will probably play it on the PC just for the extra modding and things like that. But really cool to have a copy of that finally. And we got Mafia for the PlayStation 2. Kind of like a GTA game. Heard great things about it, just never really played it. Then the next game here is going to be the combo pack Tetris Worlds and Star Wars The Clone Wars. Yeah, it's a little double pack release, which, you know, it is what it is. Then next here we have some loose PlayStation 1 games. I think there's some Xbox games if I remember. So we got Tony Hawk 3, God of War, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, which is amazing game, probably the best on the system. Another copy of Brute Force. Hey. Medal of Honor Frontline, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, Mass Effect 2. Awesome game. And this one I was really excited for, actually, and it is Conquer Live and Reloaded for the Xbox, and this is the HD remaster of Conker's Bad Fur Day. Never had the game myself. I actually watched one of my friends play through a majority of the game back in the day, but I've never had a chance to play it, besides the multiplayer, really. So yeah, that's pretty awesome to get. And then lastly here for the disc-based games is a copy of Gran Turismo 2 and a copy of Bully for the PlayStation 2. Then I got a Nintendo eShop card, which he purchased or picked up for himself and found out that it was in American currency, so he couldn't actually use it in Canada. So he hooked me up. So that's awesome. And then I got a couple DS games here. We got Brain Age 2, which I hear these are decent little like brain kind of like logic games and things like that. So that is neat. And this one, yeah, I don't know. The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Circle of Spies. So I have no idea what this is. I know it's based on a Disney kids show, I would assume. Looking at the back, it doesn't provide much information. It looks like it is a video game of some sort. Can't imagine this is anything good. I could look it up, but I don't really care to. Yeah, thanks, man. Awesome. So then these last ones I was actually really stoked to get. Games I didn't have, and for throwaway games, you know, I don't think that he'd actually consider them throwaway games, but nice little treat. So I got Duke Nukem 0 Hour for the 64, WWF Attitude. So one thing I will say about the 64 wrestling games is I will never probably ever play this game. I have WrestleMania 2000, and my friends had WrestleMania 2000, as well as WCW NWO Revenge. And basically, my friends and I used to play the crap out of those games, and my friends just happened to had 64s, and they were way better than I was. And, you know, all the time that we played these games, they just destroyed me. Like, no holds bar, no mercy. Like, they never took it easy on me, and just annihilated me every time. And I had my fill, and I was like, I'm done. I'm never playing these games again. It stayed true to this day. Every once in a while, when everyone really wants to play those games, I'll bust it out, and I'll just watch and have fun. I don't need to play it to have fun. So still, I'm happy to add this to the collection, so I'm sure it's another pretty decent one. Then we got Kobe Bryant NBA Courtside, which, you know, not much of a fan of basketball games besides NBA Jam and maybe NBA Street. And then lastly, we got Cruisin' USA, which is Classic Racer. And of course, got to get a Super Nintendo game in here. Wheel of Fortune Deluxe Edition. Wheel of Fortune. Can't say much about it other than that. And then, actually, with this, a couple weeks ago, at this point anyways, I actually went up to Canada to visit Corpse Flood for the weekend. Stayed with him and his family. Had an absolute blast. Played a lot of Breath of the Wild, which really kind of got rid of all the skepticism that I had about the excitement over the game. I don't think it is the best game ever made. If you do, that is fine, but I did really enjoy playing the game. But with that, of course, I had to check out his game room and his collection and kind of see what he had going on. And as we were checking it out, he was showing me a shelf. He's like, yeah, these are where I kind of put my recent pickups until I do a video. And he started pulling out a few games and handed me a stack of games. He's like, here you go, enjoy. They're doubles. I don't need them. And I was like, awesome, man. Thank you very much. So one that he has been talking up for quite a while. I've heard some other people talk about this game, and I know it has kind of like a pretty good legacy. He gave me Star Wars Battlefront 2 for the PlayStation 2, as well as a whoops. Well, I just dropped the loose disc for Star Wars Battlefront 1 for the PlayStation 2. Star Wars based shooters, I hear they are awesome. Online games, I don't think you can play them online anymore, but you can still, bust out the co-op on the couch, which is always a blast to do. Then I got Ratchet and Clank for the PlayStation 4. Reboot game, I've heard great things about it. I've never actually played a Ratchet and Clank game, so this is probably no better time to jump into the series than with this one, because, like I said, hearing great things about it. This one I was pretty stoked to get. Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. Now, I actually haven't played the Witcher series, which a lot of people might be surprised by that, as these are games that I guarantee that when I finally do sit down and play them, I will absolutely love them, but I just haven't gotten around to playing them. So now I actually have the whole series. I have Witcher 1 and 2 digitally on Steam, so yeah, anytime I can jump in and get to it. And then the last game here from Corpse Flood was Final Fantasy Typo HD, which I've heard mixed things about it. It doesn't sound like it's a super great game by any means. When it first came out, I had considered picking it up because it came with the Final Fantasy 15 demo, which I am glad I didn't, because I thought the Final Fantasy 15 demos were kind of crappy. But then again, is what it is. But yeah, I got that, and I hear it's decent, so can't go wrong with a decent game. So then the last thing here, and of course not least by any means, was something that I was super surprised about. So a few weeks ago, I was staying over at a friend's house. We're hanging out and talking about some stuff that we're going to be probably like trading off or getting rid of, and he hands me a Sega Genesis with the power base converter. Now, what the power base converter is it allows you to play your Sega Master System games on a Sega Genesis. Now, I've always wanted one of these. I actually always had a Sega Master System since I was a kid, but I always thought the Sega Genesis with its add-ons, when I was younger anyways, I thought was like super cool, and to be able to play your Master System on a more powerful system, I should probably actually know if it actually helps with slowdown and things like that. But yeah, he gave me this and told me to enjoy, and of course, super appreciative. Thank you very much for that. And with it, he also gave me a Sega Genesis high definition graphics version, and this is the Genesis version that's kind of like the ultimate one to use. It has the best sound, even though it says high definition graphics. I do have a regular Model 1 as well as a Model 2 and a Model 3, so I now have all the Sega's Genesises anyways. I got this. Still need to get a 32X and Model 1 Sega CD, as well as some other things to kind of round out my Sega Genesis collection. But yeah, some pretty awesome pickups, I would say. Thank you very much to Corpse Flood and my friend for the hookups, of course. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, and if you've managed to stick around in my video for this long, I just wanted to say happy 2-year anniversary to me. This is also a video number 100 on my channel. I was thinking about kind of doing like a video dedicated to itself with some shout outs and things, but I've kind of shouted out everybody individually at points in before. Of course, again, my appreciation goes out to anybody showing support. But yeah, thanks for all the support. 2 years, whoopee sort of deal. And here's to the next 2. And then also just wanted to throw out there for anybody going to the Midwest Gaming Classic, which is April 8th and 9th. I will be there for the whole weekend, and the Old Ass Retro Gamer invited me to join him on a panel on Saturday, April 8th at 5 o'clock. We're going to be talking about YouTube and gaming and getting into the both, combining them or whatnot, and We might do some other topics, and then there's going to be like a little meet and greet afterwards. So if you are going, I'd really encourage you to stop by and check it out, or at least, try to stop by at 5:30 when, there will be a place that definitely I will be, and I would love to meet a lot of people who I've gotten to know while on YouTube. Well then, I guess with that said, that will do it for this pickup video. Of course, I would love to know your thoughts on some of these games, especially the ones that I have no experience with. And again, I just wanted to say thanks for all the support over this time. It's been a crazy experience, and I'm loving it, and I'm making great friends, and I'm having a blast doing these videos and getting these games, talking about games, and just can't believe things have gotten to where they are. And yeah, I have no intentions in slowing down, and look forward to meeting some people at the Midwest Gaming Classic. And I am starting to ramble, so I will close this one out. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you next time on the Game Grinder.
I don't care how the vault's doing it. Hey, yeah. Thanks for you know it.